What's up YouTube, JP Shark here reporting for the Shark ZF6 channel. This video is going to cover how to replace that cheap plastic mainspring housing that comes on your Kimber with a beautiful part from Ed Brown. In this case it'll be the Ed Brown stainless mainspring housing with the chain link texture or treatment as they describe it. And what it actually looks like is this. In fact, let's just go ahead and take that bad boy out of this plastic bag here so we can get a better look at it. And you can see here what we're talking about. So all we have to do really is remove the mainspring housing, swap the guts from the cheap plastic Kimber mainspring housing into the beautiful Ed Brown part, and then put the mainspring housing back in. Pretty straightforward. Not going to do a complete detail strip, so it shouldn't be too bad. There's always some potential fitting issues with hole sizes and that sort of thing. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. We'll just, for now, assume that it's going to fit relatively easily and it's going to be pretty much a direct swap. So remember, anytime you're going to remove your mainspring housing pin, you should always have your hammer all the way forward, as you see mine here. In fact, maybe I should just move this out and zoom this out a little bit just so you can see, so that we're clear on what's going on here. Alright, then I'm going to use my standard tool for removing mainspring housing pins. I like this one because it's rounded and it won't mar up that pin as much as, say, if I just used a regular punch. Alright, a couple taps and it should come out. There it comes. Alright, so we'll go ahead and knock him out. And there he is. Remember, the mainspring housing pin has a groove in it that the lower cap rides in to retain the pin when it's assembled. Alright, we'll go ahead and pull this guy out. Now I'm going to do something that you haven't seen me do before, just as a precaution to hopefully make this as easy as possible. Remember Murphy's Law, so I'm trying to prevent all kinds of things here. And I may fail completely, but we'll see. I'm going to use one of those little quick grip tools that I just love, but you'll see this one is considerably smaller than the one that I'm going to use for the mainspring housing. I'm telling you, these things come in handy. And the only reason I'm going to put this on here is just so that I'm keeping the safety grip compressed somewhat, so that it's out of the way of the trigger bow, so that I can manipulate this without too many issues. You don't want to make it too tight because I don't want to crush the thing. I just want it to be snug up against there like that. Alright, so now it's clearing that and I should be good to go here. Alright, remember these things clamp pretty good, so it's going to make this easy here. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and pull the mainspring housing out. Alright, let's check this again just to make sure that I'm accomplishing here what I want to. Yeah, just want to keep it, like I said, back. And I can tell because if I just simply squeeze the trigger, I should be able to restore the hammer to the fully forward position. So you can see there, that's my goal. So that I only have to manipulate that one part later on. Alright, so let's get that out of the way for a minute and focus on the business at hand here. Replacing this cheap plastic part with this beautiful stainless steel part. If you recall from the other videos, I like to just simply use one of these tools here and simply compress that with a little screw. In this case, I'll just use this little screw that I have in my hardware kit. This is a screw that you'll find in holding hard drives and optical drives and whatnot in the cases of computers. It should be the right length. And I'm just going to compress that enough so that I can get that pin out of there. Alright, and since this is plastic, it's probably going to be even easier than normal. I should be able to push this boy out now. You can see it's coming out. Can you see that? There it comes. Yeah, simple. Alright, so there's your mainspring housing pin that holds the mainspring housing guts in, the little one. Then we're going to release this guy right here. The guts are going to be able to be removed at that point. And we should just be able to transfer the guts from the Kimber mainspring housing into the Ed Brown mainspring housing. Alright, so let's put the guts back in this thing. You can see I kind of got the parts laid out here, so it's obvious how they go together. Go ahead and drop the lower cap in there. You can put it in with the spring too, sometimes a little easier that way. And remember, what I got to do now is compress this thing and get that pin back in there. And I like using my little clamp. So we're just going to try to get that boy in there and get it clamped up. Probably be easier if I do it like this. Let's see. Actually, you know what? Let's use these because it gets me a little bit farther away from that clamp that I like. Don't want to be too close to it there. Alright, so here we go. So all I got to do is clamp this thing. Alright, so you can see there I've compressed this thing. And all I got to do is put this little pin in there now. If you can see light through it, the pin will go. There. Done. And then break it out. Screw out of there. Check the top there. It's not marred up too much. A little bit. No big deal. Alright, so there it is. The beautiful Ed Brown mainspring housing ready to go back into the weapon. Now the only other issue is how these holes here are going to line up ultimately with the holes here in the frame. So if we bring the frame back over here, remember I've had it clamped up so nothing's fallen out or gotten out of a line or anything like that. That way I won't have to screw around with shaking it up so I can get the springs back in place. So at this point we're ready to slide this thing in here and see how it's going to ultimately fit. I'm going to go ahead and push the hammer back and use the hammer as sort of a guide. That was the whole reason why I did it this way to begin with, so I could have that option if necessary. Just want to get that boy lined up in that concave hole there. Alright, make sure that thing's clamped. It is. So with that grip safety clamped, I can simply push the hammer home by squeezing the trigger and holding it back, so to speak. I think I need to zoom out a little bit here so you can see what I'm doing. This is the way I like doing it. Other guys do it other ways. Whatever. This works for me. So I'm going to squeeze the trigger and then push the hammer home, and you can see everything sort of falling into place there. Now a lot of guys will tell you, well now, since I've got this arrangement set up, I can go ahead and use my hammer to align the pins, and you can see there if I move the hammer around I can align them. But the real issue here, wow, it's shaky, is this one looks like it's going to be a little bit long. So I want to be able to get that pin in there without having to force it. I want it to fit all the way in so that it falls right in against the cap in the bottom there that retains it. Alright, so if you look in there, I don't know how obvious it is, but it's definitely out of alignment a little bit. And what I really need to do is compress it and maybe even move it this way a little bit. I could force it in. I mean, the pin's sort of rounded on the end, so you could do that, but I don't really want to do that. I don't want to booger up my pin if I don't have to. So let's see here. We put it in there and then get that so that it's just there. So you can see there I just put a little pressure on it, just enough to get it to started. It's really important, in my opinion, that you do it that way. So it's in now to the point where it's touching that cap. So all I should have to do is tap that sucker home with my tool. So let's see. And that's it. Check the other side. Make sure it's flush. Yep. And it's all good. Alright, so there you can see the beautiful Kimber, complete with the beautiful Ed Brown stainless steel mainspring housing with beautiful chainmail texturing. Just gotta love that, man. I mean, look at the difference. Plastic gray piece of crap, beautiful stainless steel with chain link texturing. I mean, there's no comparison. It makes this gun, the quality of it, threefold in my humble opinion. Alright, maybe that's an exaggeration, but I think you get my point. Alright, that's it. Easy to do. Next video you see from me regarding the 1911 will be on how to detail strip this bad boy right here. So until then, it's JP Shark reporting for the Shark Z06 channel, and I am out.